you guys can see, I'm still not running the lights on today. I'm going to wait until I'm done with my shows for today, and then I'm going to, which side is this coming from? This side? Let me get this off. There we go. Maybe that'll help stop some of that. At any rate, we will have lights on tomorrow. We'll have everything running as it should be tomorrow. But for today, if you guys weren't here this morning, we are going back to a specific interview. And the reason why we chose to go back to this particular specific interview is because this is the first time that Chris kind of lost his stuff and went off the rails a little bit. And in my experience, people that are upset tend to say stuff that they don't intend to say or blurt stuff out. Leakage. I find that leakage happens, you know, if we were, can't remember what I called it before, but, you know, we find out, I think Freudian slip might be a great choice of words as well. And what I probably used previously, but when you have somebody that's a hothead, they have a tendency to have leakage that, you know, might be part of the truth. And so we did find out that it is possible. I'm not, you know, 100%. You guys heard it just like me, but it is possible that Chris had taken 2 lie detector tests because of the way he answered a question. One being that he took one with FBI and another agency. And another agency, to me, implies there could be a possibility of 2 polygraph tests. But again, you have to look at the source that this information is coming from. Do we believe this person? And this person has been identified as telling a lot of untrue statements and inconsistent statements with other stories provided. So we have to take it with a grain of salt. Is there 2 polygraphs? Is there not 2 polygraphs? I don't know. I just know what the man said and what it could mean, right? Because remember, when we heard that he only had 2 states he's had CPS reports, many people just assume that he's only had 2 reports, and how terrible of an assumption that ended up being. So, you know, there are things that are said that we don't understand at the time that they're said, but could they imply something else later down the road? Which is why we're always coming back to prior interviews and stuff like that, because we don't have anything current on these folks. And we have to try to make heads or tails of what we have, statements that they would have accidentally made, that they did not intend to make. Those are the stuff that we're in search for. We're in search for the information that is exposed by all these interviews that at the time that we hear these, we don't realize. So we've already heard him. He's a hothead. He spent the majority of the time condemning people for asking questions about his missing stepson. He is spent more time shaming people and screaming at people and trying to have his authority and control the situation, that he has not up to this point had a whole lot of time to talk about Sebastian, the victim, the person that's missing. He has spent the entire time for a full hour that we've witnessed talking about the stuff he's going through and his wife going through, and paying no mind to Sebastian or what he could be going through. Because let's face it, according to him, he got up in the middle of the night, walked out the door, and nobody has seen him since, according to them. So don't you think that they would be ultra concerned about where he is, what he's going through, who he could be with, if he's being hurt, if he's being fed? Don't those types of things go through parents' minds, not necessarily them? Because I know for a fact my mom would give her life for me to have one more day of life. That's my mother, right? So I don't understand somebody taking the time. If I'm 45 years old and if I disappeared tomorrow, my mother would be concerned about me. My family would be concerned about me. They wouldn't be concerned about what they're going through. And trust me, with the hate channels, if something happened to me, they would probably first attack my father, which is a good man. We have family problems like every person, everybody else. He wasn't a perfect man. But my father loves me, right? He would be the first person that they attack. Then they would start working on my mother. It's a horrible process. These hate channels have taken the dignity out of these cases, taken the dignity from these victims, and made it a joke, mocking. Well, enough with them. Let's get back to hunting, right? We're hunting for information. We're hunting for the nugget that we missed before. We're hunting for the discovery of new information with already provided information. So without further ado, let's get over where we need to be. I think I got it on here. I do.
And I'm not gonna lie.
Let's go back. Let's go back.
In the know.
Mm-hmm. Let's go back. Let's go back 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm. I don't think. I mean, just short of making everybody in this United States go hand in hand, start at one side of the country and sweep through hand in hand. That's probably about. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, I'm very happy with what they've done. I know there are some other folks that don't feel that way, and I'm sorry.
It's because no parent thinks law enforcement is doing enough when their child is missing and hasn't been found, period. And they're just okay with the status quo. This is odd behavior for a parent of a missing child.
Because they are not in the know.
Mm-hmm.
But you do have to remember one thing.
Aw, thank you.
They're not going to expend every single asset, every single minute of the day on one child.
Of course.
You have to keep in mind how many children are missing, and it has to be equally dissolved among.
Wow. No problems. We know they have to get on to other cases. We know they have other kids. Let me tell you, I've been here my whole life in this town. My family has been here before they taxed people. My family has been here before it was even it was just a settlement when my family got here. Just a settlement, this area. Everybody knows me. Okay? If somebody was missing in my family, I know how busy Rick Wells is, my sheriff. I would drive his, and trust me, I have. I've had screaming matches with his law enforcement officers before over I need something done and they're not working fast enough, and it wasn't over a missing child. And I drove them slap nuts. And it wasn't a missing child, right? I would be beating down the sheriff's door. I would be raising holy hell in this town if somebody in my family was missing and I thought my law enforcement wasn't doing enough, because I felt that before. I have felt that before. I know that people aren't perfect, and I know my community's not perfect. It's better than a lot of other communities. But that wouldn't be acceptable for me. That wouldn't be acceptable. I would be up there telling them they're the worst people in the whole world. Why can't you find my child? Right? Because I don't know is not an excuse that I'm willing to accept. That's my child. That's my family member. Definitely far cry from me saying, you know what? Don't worry about it. I know you guys are busy. I don't want to be a pain in your side. You know what? Sebastian can wait. Just go ahead and put him on the bottom of your list and take care of everything else you've got to take care of. And when you get around to it, just give me a call and we'll pick up from where we left off. No problem, officer. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Cupcake.
Among everybody. And I'm not going to lie to you. It hurt. It hurt the day that they came in on day 8 and told us that they have to pull back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it ain't nothing. There was more of a gut punch to take than being told that. I mean,
I bet it was a gut punch. But a gut punch in a different way than he's implying. They worked so hard to make sure everybody believed he just walked out the door. So I do believe it was a gut punch, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
It
I can imagine. Because you're not expecting them to say that. You're not expecting them to say, yeah, we're going to pull back and put less.
I do expect that, but here's the thing. I'm also a realistic.
I do expect it. So he knew they were never going to find him? What in the ever? You know what? Listen.
Because you're not expecting them to say that. You're not expecting them to say, yeah, we're going to pull back and put less.
I do expect that, but here's the thing. I'm also a realistic person.
Mm-hmm.
I would love for them to expend every aspect and every asset and every single second of the day finding Sebastian. That's not realistic.
Yeah.
It's
I
not.
understand.
Oh, it's not realistic. I want you guys to think about that statement. It's not realistic. This is why I picked this interview. It's not realistic. How does he know? How does he know? How does he know that law enforcement searching in and around his home is not going to be fruitful? And he completely understands that they have to stop because he knows it's not realistic for them to continue on. How does he know? That seemed like a statement of fact, not an opinion. How does he know? Let's listen to that again. I want you to listen. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Everybody in chat, I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to drown out any other noise you're hearing around you. And I want you to focus on his voice and listen to the words he is saying. Just the words.
Here's the thing. I'm also a realistic person.
Mm-hmm.
I would love for them to expend every aspect and every asset and every single second of the day finding Sebastian. That's not realistic.
Yeah.
It's
I
not.
understand. I want to read you.
How does he know? How does he know that it's not going to be the next day they're going to find him? How does he know that it's not realistic? How does he know? Realistic to him is different from realistic to me.
A comment, and I like this comment from Brittany Cole. It says, sometimes you have to block out the noise, Chris. The public will do what they do, and that's the truth. A lot of us are just trying to offer help. It's the bad ones that you remember, and not all the much bigger crowd of good people who are not doing this.
And I mean, weeks ago, somebody asked me what I thought, and I had some information from court documents that could have been a lot of quote unquote tea for the internet to have. And I refused to release it because
Court documents on, let me ask you this, on who? Me, Seth, Katie? Okay.
I refused to release it because, number one, I didn't think it would help find Sebastian. Number two, it was a deeply personal thing. And also,
when she was young?
Yes.
Okay, so let me
finish, and I referred to the Michael Vaughn case, where his parents got completely slaughtered.
Yes, they did.
By the public for a very long time.
I wonder what creators did that, because it wasn't the Bullhorn Betty channel that attacked Brandy. As a matter of fact, we worked our butts off to try to help her with the hate channels trying to scare her while she is dealing with her missing son.
They didn't do anything to that boy. I do not believe.
They didn't.
Now they have proof. But they just got slaughtered. And if people can say without a shadow of a doubt that they just know what somebody did and they don't. Well, if you know, take it to the police and let's solve this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tell all the Sherlock Holmes and Watsons out there, since they have their PhDs in criminal justice and forensics and all this, since they've got it.
Oh, I can promise you. The only thing Bullhorn Betty's a scholar in is the.
Oh, come on now. That ain't even bullshit. That's horse shit.
And.
You're a liar.
So, yeah. I'm sorry. I come from the school of hard knocks. I come from on the job experience, and I come with a fully comprehending head with common sense that loves to learn. I'm like a sponge, even at 45 years old. If I can learn something new, I gobble that stuff up. I am a sponge. I love being a sponge. I'm going to continue to be a sponge until the day the good Lord puts me in that ground. I'm going to continue to learn. I'm going to continue to expand. I don't need a PhD in what? What is a piece of paper going to do for Bullhorn Betty or anybody out here? Yeah, it gives you a credential if you're looking for a job. But skill is skill, baby. Skill is skill. I'm just saying.
By all means, we welcome you to the case. We welcome you to come in here and show us and show these law enforcement officers that have so many years of experience that they don't know anything.
Happy to lend a hand.
Chris,
happy to lend a hand.
This isn't helping.
I know it's not helping, but this goes back to what's being asked.
Let's get people on your side, and then we can all work together. Because I know
that's just the thing. This isn't about sides. This is not about sides.
Exactly, and
this is not. This is about Sebastian.
It is. But if we're not,
it's about. Hold on, let me do it. Sebastian. It's about Sebastian. I wonder how many times that back of the hand Sebastian got to see before it became about Sebastian. I'm just curious, asking for a few 100,000 friends.
I'm Team Sebastian. Same. I was brought in to do one thing.
Same.
Okay, guys, let me just say, coming from the other side, you want the public's help. You need the public's help. Let's not insult the public. There are asses out there. And believe me, we fight against them all the time, don't we, Stacy? Constantly. These jerks out there that pull all this crap just to get clicks. We don't have advertising on this channel. We don't ask for money. We do it because we want to help. But it doesn't help.
So
you are more than welcome to help Websleuths along with everybody else, and you're more than welcome to take your monetization off. But to condemn the people that work hard and have monetization is becoming a little bit. That's what I feel like. I'm tired of hearing about the money. We work hard. I stop everything I'm doing. Hell, look at the liability cases are for creators. The liability for going up and actually doing not even violating one single law, not even a speed limit. Oh, hey, Justin for all. That's my new kiss for you, honey. I don't know why I like that one so much. I use it all the time. I'm burning the button out. But, we got to get off that because let's face it, people do a lot of great work. They have a lot of great skill. People that can work and do this job is great. People that feel that the victims deserve undivided attention and not half-assed, not half-worked because we're so tired from our job. Those are the things that us creators that are in the true crime genre do all day. We're behind this computer working, racking our brains, crying, trying to find what we need to find, Hey, Linda Lou, it's nice to see you, my love. Hugs and kisses.
So can I ask you a question on your show?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you the same question I ask everybody else when we went on their shows. So I'm on your show and I'm sure it is blown up.
Listen to that.
So the more
He just thinks he is. Does this man not realize, even at this time, we're looking for the train wreck? Did people not realize that's what we're listening for? We're listening for everything that we can. Remember, we are looking for anything and everything we can use against these people. Why? Because we've researched stuff. We've identified people that could be responsible. We know if this child was kidnapped, familial kidnapping or otherwise, would be in a place that's known to these parents. If that is your theory. And then we have this little nugget.
When we went on their shows. So
Boastful.
I'm on your show and I'm sure it is blown up.
Boastful.
So the more people that come on, the more money this show makes.
No, I make no money.
We don't make money. We're not
make
monetized.
zero money.
It's not monetized.
And we
We're
don't
not a
take
monetary
donations.
show.
No, they don't monetize.
No.
We do not
Right,
monetize.
okay.
We do not monetize. It costs me money to do this.
Yeah, and Chris,
Websleuths
So
is
the reason why I
completely
asked,
Well, I'm glad people have money to throw away like that, but I'm sorry. I travel all over the country. It takes a little more money than just turning on a camera on a computer and running a show.
so I will go on.
It's completely free,
Well,
and the website is as well.
What? No
right,
advertising.
so the reason why I'm asking that question, okay,
Mm-hmm.
is because if people are true to what they say in their heart,
Mhm.
especially those, and they know who I'm talking about, the clickers,
Yeah.
the shows that make this money.
Yep.
I would love for you to make a public announcement for every dollar you've made. If you truly do this for the goodness of your heart, every dollar that you have made, you should donate it to the cause, not to your.
Oh, no, sir. I donate it so I can come hang out. I donate the money to airfare. I'm one of those front row people. I'm one of those people that like to get a recliner out, right? And hang out for a while. That's kind of my forte. My forte is letting people know I'm there. Let people know I'm working for a child. Letting people know that I've got a hell of a batting average. And I'm there. And I'm looking into it.
Personal gain.
Right.
Well, yeah, we don't. Like I
But-
said, we make
Yeah,
zero
we don't
money. It
make
costs
money.
us money to
And
do
I
it.
appreciate it and I respect
Yeah.
that. Thank y'all ladies for that. I will give you that.
So, but no, I understand what you're saying.
Good question,
but again,
Wanda.
it's just like with Nancy Grace or with news media. They report the news. Unfortunately, this is social media, and I agree. There's people out there, and I'm not going to even say their names, but they know who they are. They do this crap to get clickbait so they can make more money, and it's disgusting.
Oh,
Absolutely.
very much so. Very much so.
And I want to add something to that. Like I told Chris earlier, everybody that's involved in this case is under a microscope. I've been ripped to shreds. They've been ripped to shreds. Seth has been ripped to shreds. I mean, like the public gets.
Seth has just now is ripped to shreds to the level of Bullhorn Betty, which is disgusting to me since he's an innocent father. Okay, we're not here for a pedestal of perfect. We're here to help assist in the disappearance or help assist finding the child that has been disappeared. And we're not people, we come from all walks of life. Some of us done pretty good in life. Some of us haven't done so well. Some of us are struggling each and every day. We are not a perfect camp over here. And we do not sit on a perfect throne saying how perfect we are. We know people make mistakes, but at the end of the day, when somebody has nothing to do with the disappearance of their child, we don't attack them. We help them. That's what we do. We help.
A hold of somebody in the spotlight and they dig into them and they pull up anything that they can about them. And some of it's true and some of it's not. It doesn't help find Sebastian. And that's where we all need to get on the same page and regroup and just make the decision right here, right now, to ignore the rumors, to clear up misinformation and just to get on track so that we can start
Lady
trying to find
Justice, nice to see you,
Sebastian.
love.
Now,
Right. If we can keep parties involved in this investigation focused on that and staying off of YouTube and other aspects of social media and playing the game.
Oh, he so loves to tell people what they should be doing. Do as I say, not as I do, as he's sitting on social media telling the whole world business that nobody has any business knowing. Okay, and he's about to say the game for the second time in this live. The game. Why is he the only one referring to Sebastian and his disappearance as the game? These are real weird choices of words, if you ask me. We're going back about a minute.
Thank y'all ladies for that. I will give you that.
so, but no, I understand what you're saying. But again, it's just like with, Nancy Grace or with news media, they report the news. Unfortunately, this is social media. And I agree, there's people out there, and I'm not going to even say their names, but they know who they are. They do this crap to get clickbait so they can make more money, and it's disgusting. Absolutely.
Oh, very much so. Very much so.
And I want to add something to that. Like I told Chris earlier, everybody that's involved in this case is under a microscope. I've been ripped to shreds. They've been ripped to shreds. Seth has been ripped to shreds. I mean, like the public gets a hold of somebody in the spotlight and they dig into them and they pull up anything that they can about them. And some of it's true and some of it's not. It doesn't help find Sebastian. And that's where we all need to.
I wonder about her ex-partner, the unscrupulous PI, which I think all of these internet PIs are unscrupulous at times, especially the public ones, because that's not their information to disclose. It's their clients. And I'm adamant about ethics. But she's saying people get a hold of, isn't that what they do? How much stuff has been leaked from the unscrupulous PI she used to work with and probably still is arm in arm with? I'm just curious.
To get on the same page and regroup and just make the decision right here, right now, to ignore the rumors, to clear up misinformation, and just to get on track so that we can start trying to find Sebastian.
Now,
Right. If we can keep parties involved in this investigation focused on that and staying off of YouTube and other aspects of social media
like he's doing,
and playing the game. Okay.
Playing the game. This is the second time he has referred to this disappearance as the game. I'm curious. I'm going to pause right here for a second because you guys are listening to this with me. I pointed out the first time he said game, and that was in the first half. That was in this morning's episode or segment. And now we're hearing about the game further in this interview. Why would somebody be referring to a disappearance of a human being as playing the game? Can somebody help me with that? I agree with you. I know. And that's what we've said from the very beginning, Cooking. I agree with that statement, hands down, 1,000 times over. 1,000 times over. Better watch out, Emma. Or Emmy. She coming, Emmy. I'm just joking. That's cute. Yeah, he is triggered. And that's why this is a great interview to dissect a little bit, because there's a lot of stuff that, we brought up before, but now that we know so much more about the case, they have a totally different meaning, maybe not a totally different meaning, but the statements are becoming a little louder and a little more concerning. I think would probably be the best analysis that we can come up with. What you gonna do when they study you? Mullet boy, what you gonna do? I can tell that's the music we were going with, VA. I can hear it. I can hear it in my head. I can hear it in my head. Oh, we are crazy. Welcome to the insane asylum. He pretends he's other people in YouTube, in my opinion. Remember the Texas guy, that his game, he's making the disappearance of a child a game. That's him, in my opinion. Wow. I don't know if I heard of that one or not. But I'm just still curious. All kinds of effort put into making sure Sebastian isn't found. I can agree with that. It surely seems like it. It surely seems like, something is not right or sitting right here with us. Sadly, this all has been a game for it in a twisted way. Yes. It's been, I think this is what the problem was. Do you guys remember back at the beginning where he reminded us so much of some of the stuff Don Wells and Candace Wells did, but to a different degree. It was weird because it was similar, but it wasn't. Like, I feel like it was even a step further than the whole FBI call with Don and Candace. They just broke down the door and the FBI just came in here and took Don out of the house. Send me some money. Crap. It was insane. And that's kind of how I feel like this is as well. You went to jail for Sebastian Rogers. Yeah, I did. I went to jail for fighting for him, and I'm still fighting for him. And, I'm even having to check my BS at the door because we've got choices here. We can have the benefit of the case, or I can make myself feel better by, being nasty to law enforcement on my channel. I mean, I have choices here. But this child means more to me, and his father having answers mean more to me than my own personal feelings about that. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I know the good Lord's got my back. I know at some point somebody's gonna have to pull their head out of their butt and realize this is a bunch of
Warning, bullshit alert.
Just saying, Just saying. So, I mean, these are professionals that do this every day. They've got to smell this stuff a mile away. I've always believed judges could smell, BS a mile away. It's their job. They hear every single, excuse known to man that ever goes into a courtroom. You'd have to be able to, if a judge can't smell BS a mile away when it's stinking up the whole courtroom, I don't know. But anyways, I got to get off that. It's not that's got to get checked. Yes, I did. And it's got to get checked. It is what it is. It's a side effect of the work that we do. We rely heavily on the Constitution, and unfortunately, a lot of law enforcement bodies across this country don't even understand what they're required to uphold and protect. Just saying.
Yes.
I'm sure we would all benefit greatly, and this would completely change narratives and the direction, and it would straight focus completely on Sebastian.
Well, let's do this. This podcast or Websleuths podcast that we're on right now, we can make a pact right now. That's what we're doing right here, right?
But here's the other thing. I appreciate you want to make that pact.
So
but
he's saying this is what's going to happen. They comply. Did you guys see that? She allowed him to set up the, what it was going to be between them to work together. And right when she said, okay, we'll do it that way then. Now he's putting other conditions on it. Now it's not just what he said. Now it's got to be something else. Listen to this. I'm going to go back about I don't know.
Parties involved in this investigation focused on that and staying off of YouTube and other aspects of social media.
This is the important stuff.
And playing the game. Okay.
Yes.
I'm sure we would all benefit greatly, and this would completely change narratives and the direction, and it would straight focus completely on Sebastian.
Well, let's do this. This podcast or Websleuths podcast that we're on right now. We can make a pact right now. That's what we're doing right here, right?
But here's the other thing. I appreciate you want to make that pact, but you know exactly who I'm referring to. That needs to be done publicly as well then.
Oh, so he needs a public apology from the father, the biological father? He wants apology from the biological father for what? Beating his son? Hitting a medically needy child? Having CPS at his house? And not disclosing any of that to the father, the biological father? What is he supposed to be apologizing for? I'm confused. I'm confused, royally and utterly confused. Does anyone know the PFOTs are hiding? Where, I think is what you meant to say. Does anybody know where? I have not looked into it. I've heard that they're not staying at the house. I've heard that and got the gist of that when At Night Private Intelligence released that post about the house being prepared for private sale. So I don't know. I haven't looked into it, and but maybe somebody else has. I don't know. So that's going to be a question for everybody else but Bullhorn Betty. just saying.
Well, all we can do is what we can do here tonight. So,
Okay.
but Chris, there's a couple of questions, and then there is somebody. There is somebody that wants to come on the panel, and I don't know if you want them on here, but let me ask you these questions first, okay? Everybody wants to know what.
Okay. This is when it's going to start. I'm going to forewarn you all. Thank you, Melanie. Big hugs and kisses to you, my love bug. This is where it's going to start getting a little dicey. This is going to be where we need to focus a lot of this, because what we're about to witness is Seth coming up on panel, okay? So this is going now, you already seen the attitude and the demeanor of the stepfather. He's pissed that everybody's looking at them. You know, he's boastful that he's able to pull in an audience and everybody wants to hear from him because he's that important. We heard in the morning segment him talking about how him and Katie know everything. Only Seth knows a little bit, but they know everything. And you know, realistically, this is a colossal waste of time. They said that with authority. They said it with authority again in this segment. They are talking about, he's constantly referring to this disappearance and missing person as the game and playing the game multiple times in this interview. And now he's going to be introduced another stressor. And that stressor is going to be Seth. So we need to pay attention to any started but not ended statements. I don't know if we're going to find any of those. Utterances that are said in the heat of the moment. Those are things we're going to want to look for. And we're just going to want to really, remember I told you, we've got eyes and we've got ears. So let's use our eyes and our ears for this next part.
Do you think happened to Sebastian? What do you think happened?
I don't know. For the love of God, I wished I had an answer. I wished we had something to go off of, but we
Chris,
don't.
I asked Seth this a few weeks ago, and so just no thought.
I'm gonna hear you out.
In your gut, spit it out. Doesn't matter if it sounds completely off the wall. What is your knee-jerk reaction to what happened?
Sebastian walked out of the house, stepped off the porch, and has vanished into thin air.
Now, again, this is not a kid that's ever done that before, ever. A child that's never walked out, that has never ran off, that's never done anything, and the very first thing and thought that comes to this man's head is that he ran away. If he truly thought that Sebastian ran away when he's done it before, we have to ask ourselves, what was that home life that would make that boy of all days run off in the middle of the night without a darn thing with him, a jacket, or even his shoes on? What kind of environment would be so horrible to make a child run out of the house and literally, what did he say, evaporate? And the other time, what word did he use? Dissolve. So in the first segment this morning, he uses the word dissolve. And now he's using the word evaporate. Let's make sure I'm using the right word. We'll go back 10 seconds.
Sebastian walked out of the house, stepped off the porch, and has vanished into
thin air. So we got vanished into thin air and dissolve. And the game. So I still don't know what all of that means just yet. Give me just a second. Let me read something. Oh, okay. Thank you. Why was Seth allegedly seeking a fate? Who told you this? Listen, I can't answer why people say the stuff that they say. If you believe that, my first question would be, where's the receipts that he allegedly was seeking a fake birth certificate? Because I'd like to see where they even raised that as an issue. Like, who raised that? I can guarantee it probably came from a hate channel or somebody that's not trusted on these platforms. Be careful what you listen to and what you hear, guys. Just for your own sake and benefit. Stop.
That is what I think, because that is what I know.
That's okay.
But what do you mean, you know?
I've been part of the investigation since day.
Let's hold on. Let's go back.
Jerk reaction to what happened.
Let's listen to this all once again. Delilah distracted me.
Sebastian walked out of the house, stepped off the porch, and has vanished into thin air.
Vanished into thin air.
That is what I think, because that is what I know.
But what do you mean, you know?
See? He walked off the porch and vanished into thin air. Because that's what he knows. He's speaking this with authority. In fact, when he was just challenged, maybe it's this one he was challenged. He was challenged to ask him, how does he know? And then he finally says he assumes.
I've been part of the investigation since day one.
He's been part of the investigation since day one. Hasn't Seth been also part of that same investigation? How is he privy to this information, but the biological father is not? But remember, recently we've learned that a lot of the statements he was saying, that he said law enforcement told him not to say this or told him not to say that, was hogwash. Because Brandon Carter wrote and said they've never said that.
Okay.
And if anybody else out there that's got some information in regards to where Sebastian has went, because last time I checked, there's not one shred of evidence.
You know he walked off the porch is what I'm asking.
I'm telling you, unless this kid is just into thin air.
Whoa! Into thin air. Dissolved, vanished into thin air, and into thin air. Keep listening.
On my front porch. He sure had to go somewhere. So yeah.
He walked off the porch is what I'm asking.
I'm telling you, unless this kid is just in the thin air on my front porch.
On his front porch. So he's definitively putting him on the front porch at this point. Not just walking out, but everything happened on the front porch outside of the house. Yet he was not there. How would he know this? We're listening. We're trying to find out what he's going to say.
He sure had to go somewhere, so he had to walk off the front porch. Now, if you're trying to insinuate somebody was in my house or somebody's taking that child outside of my house, say
I'm not
that.
insinuating anything. I'm asking, do you know that he walked out your front door? Do you know
That he went out the front door?
Or any door?
Is that what you're asking?
Do you know?
Yeah, that's what we're asking.
Okay, thank you. I just need a confirmation. I don't play games.
I think it was pretty clear what she was asking. So it says it sounded like he's the one talking about playing the game.
Games here. So,
Or any door?
is that what you're asking?
Do you know?
Yeah, that's what we're asking.
Okay, thank you. I just need a confirmation. I don't play games here. So,
the deception detective says when they're doing this, what you just seen, it's very clear what Chloe was asking. And he had to reiterate the question and pause and try to buy some time. And according to the deception detective, now I don't know exactly what card it is, but I remember just watching this yesterday. According to deception detective, he said this is deceptive because they're buying time to think of a response. And I think that's exactly what we're watching here. He's buying time to think of how he's going to explain this.
just to make this real crystal clear, there's a back door. Every door in the house, when Katie got up that morning.
That was weird how he focused right on that back door when she was asking that question. Let's go back to that, and we're going to just listen. I'm going to go back 20 seconds. Sorry, I just want to analyze this a little bit more.
You know.
Yeah, that's what we're asking.
Okay, thank you.
So they're wanting to know how does he know about this, him walking out the door? And of course, we're going through this. Now let's listen to how he answers this, because I think the reason why he was doing this is to buy time. And the first thing he starts out with is the back door, not the front door or another door. It's the back door. And why is this so important to me right now? It is because we know that law enforcement's concentration with all of their equipment, especially the 3D imaging, appear to be in the backyard. Okay? So I think that we didn't know about this at this point. Beverly V says he had to go somewhere. Leakage. Good grab. Now, I'm not, like I said, I'm not deception detective level, right? We're all learning the cards together. We're all learning to spot these things together. And it's just another tool we can put in the toolbox. That's all it is. So now, so we know that she's talking about how does he know he went out the front door? And the very first thing, I think there's something in here when he starts with that back door. That's what's coming to his mind first. Let's listen.
I just need a confirmation. I don't play games here. So just to make this real crystal clear, there's a back door. Every door in the house.
There's not just a back door. There's several doors, but he identified the back door. There's a back door. What did that mean? And then now he's going to go through the rest of the doors in the house.
There's a back door. Every door in the house, when Katie got up that morning, was locked.
Okay.
Since it's already out there, there's a keypad on the front door. You don't need a key.
Why did he start off with that back door? It still doesn't make sense to me. Did you guys notice that? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that he identified that back door first when responding to her. It doesn't seem right here.
To unlock and lock my front door.
Mm-hmm.
But you need a key to lock every other door. And every other door was locked, folks.
So it
Did Katie do that?
Do
And he
what?
walked out. And did Katie make sure all the other doors were locked? And could have Sebastian just walked out? Could he have walked out the front door?
Every door was locked.
So what you're saying is that the only possibility is the front door. Is that what you're saying?
I am saying the most conceivable way possible that this makes sense is that he walked out the front door.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Did he walk out without his shoes on? Is that what you believe?
My statement earlier is real simple. Sebastian walked out of the house not wearing any shoes.
Could he have been running and scared of something? Shoes on. Is that what?
Possible that this makes sense.
Saying is that the only possibility is the front door. Is that what you're saying?
I am saying the most conceivable way possible that this makes sense is that he walked out the front door.
So now that we went through all of this for the last 10 minutes, we're getting to the thought that he went from a place of assertiveness and knowledge that he went out the front door to a place where he was forced to acknowledge that was just his opinion and speculation. You see? So he's saying on one hand he knows, but on the other hand, when he has to answer how he knows, we get down to the fact that that's his opinion and he's speculating. The thing that he condemns the rest of us for doing, by the way.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Did he walk out without his shoes on? Is that what you believe?
My statement earlier is real simple. Sebastian walked out of the house not wearing any shoes.
Could he have been running?
That's with authority. The first thing Seth noticed when he walked into that house is that all Sebastian's shoes were there, and he knows his son's habits. Seth knows his son's habits. That was very, very odd for Seth to see.
Running and scared of something.
Don't know. He could. It's a young boy. It's dark outside. God only knows.
Okay. Now, there is somebody that has been.
And did you notice that? She's talking about, could he have been fearful of something? And he's talking about as if Sebastian is already outside. But what forced him outside was what she was asking. Was there something that scared him? Listen.
Could he have been running and scared of something?
Could he have been running and scared of something? So if he's outside the house, could he have been running and scared of something to make him run outside the house was really her question. And his response doesn't answer the question she has. Listen to his response.
Don't know. He could. It's a young boy. It's dark outside. God.
He's a young boy. It's dark outside. That wasn't the question. The question was he fearful? Was he fearful of something that put him outside? Not whether he was scared once he got outside. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know. There's something with this statement I don't like. And I don't know.
Could he have been running and scared of something?
Don't know. He could. It's a young boy. It's dark outside. God only knows.
Okay. Now, there is somebody that has been asking to come on, and Gray Hughes. He would like to talk to you. Would you like
You can
him?
bring that. You can bring that man on board because I've talked to him. I respect him, and I will talk to him.
Gray, I just sent you the Facebook link, so jump on up. Okay, Gray?
Was it another one that Seth came on?
I just sent it to your Facebook. So he'll be jumping on here shortly. Stacy, can you keep an eye out because I can't see.
I really don't want to hear Gray Hughes. I don't want to hear him. I don't want to hear him. I really don't. Anyways, it's time for, we're going to pull up the second part where Chris and Seth are both on the screen. I don't think it's this one. I'll have to look for it. Either way, what does it say? It's this show. Not sure what that means. I can't stand him either. No one comes on here in a bit. Does he come on here in a bit on this one here? Because I thought it was this one. I don't want to hear from Gray Hughes. I'm sorry, guys. I don't like the man. I like some of the work he does. Other than that, I don't think, is it on? I thought it was on the same one. But let me see. Okay. Was he on the cell phone? Did he not know how to get on? Let me see.
The screen, because I can't because of my computer.
Right.
And yeah, so they did, you're saying they did hit and they all went to that pond.
No, I
No?
didn't say all of that. I just told
Okay.
Okay.
Hold
at
on.
least 3.
I'm so sorry. I can't stand.
This area, he doesn't have like the greatest signal because a lot of times when we talk, his
You know what?
phone, he will drop.
Do you want to ask him if he wants to call me rather than
here
go
it is.
on the internet? Just call me on the phone and I can put him on and it'll be a
Yeah, I
really
did-
strong signal. I mean, it'll sound really good.
I don't want to break this into a third episode. I think it devalues the interview when we have to break it up so much because we're losing concept and some people are losing their space and all of this. So I'd really like to get through this if Seth is calling in. Let me just I think he's coming up here shortly.
Good.
There's not the greatest.
Oh, it's his cell. Okay.
Yeah.
But if he wants to,
I mean, if he's on his cell phone, let me.
Heather, if you want to give him my number, and Chloe has it, feel free. And he can, if it's better for him to call me rather than to jump online.
I'm texting him.
Okay, we can do that. So, hey guys, I don't want to talk about other creators in chat, so let's not do that. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Agree.
yeah, let's just. I mean, I don't want to give them any.
Right. So
Your time.
let's get to our next question.
Okay. Next question. Let me take a look at my notes. Yeah, because I just wrote some things down. Have you had? And I may have asked this and I forgot, Chris. My mind is sometimes mush. Have you had search dogs inside the house and outside?
Yes, ma'am, I have. Yes, I sure have.
And what did the dogs hit outside?
So, as you know, if anybody has followed Mr. Gray's, what he was talking about, the dog and the trail and the scent and the overlay on the picture. So, there anywhere from 13 to 18 different dogs have been involved in this search.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on day one, there was 5 dogs. 5. There's an audio dispatch tape that's been released. I don't know who released it. Whatever, I don't have it, but you'd have to dig it and find it. In that audio tape, you actually hear that the deputy sheriff does state that the dog hints toward a scent and he takes over off to the retention pond and the construction site next door.
Okay.
Now, other dogs
Yeah.
did the exact same thing. Now, am I going to say every single dog? No, but I do know of at least 3 dogs that went on the same scent trail, same path. The rest of the dogs, I'm not going to tell you that they are 100% honest and perfect and accurate because honestly, dogs are only probably 25% reliable.
I don't know who told him that, but we looked into that and I don't think that is accurate. Now, dogs do make mistakes. It's all about their training. We did learn about that in the Summer Wells case. We understand that there are environmental situations that can change scent patterns. There's a lot that goes into the dogs and them picking up the scent and running with the scent and the multiple types of different dogs that they have for different types of scent, ground disturbance, scent dogs, cadaver dogs. There's just a lot.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to a scent.
Okay.
Now,
Yep. Tori.
8 days, I've had dogs in my house the first 8 days. In my house, outside my house, around my house, around the neighborhood. So, yeah.
So they've been there and yeah, so they did, you're saying they did hit and they all went to that pond.
No, I
No.
didn't say all that. I just told you I've had 13 to 18 dogs in my house and around my house.
Mm-hmm.
I told you 3 different dogs hit on the same path that go to that retention.
3.
pond.
Right.
I'm
That's
not going
my-
to say to every other dog.
Not every dog, but some.
3. We learned about the number 3 too. There's a lot of 3s that come up in this case.
Dogs hit. Okay.
Right. So, but I want this to be crystal clear.
Okay.
So when people say every dog, that is not the case. 3 dogs went on the same path.
Okay.
That is all that we have on that. The rest of these dogs go in different directions, but it's all unreliable.
Thank you, reality.
Understood.
Nancy Grace pulled up.
We do have a question from Michelle. Chris, was Ellie able to go in and search the cave they said had collapsed about 10 feet in? I haven't heard this.
Okay, so Ken Widener is the EMA director for Sumner County. They called in all kinds of stuff, got layouts of where these caves were. I don't believe, and I'm not telling you by the gospel,
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe they were able to get into certain caves because they were not safe to enter.
Okay.
The one that she is referring to that collapsed, honestly,
I'm sick of hearing about the caves and the excuses. Let's see if we get Seth.
I'm going to do exactly enforcement comes.
Okay, hold on.
There we
Seth,
Speak for all 3 of us doesn't need to be on your property. Or
second, hold on. Seth, what did you say?
I said the person to be our spokesman to speak for all 3 of us doesn't need to be on your property.
Okay,
But
Chris.
You're
yet you
correct.
haven't
You are
spoken
very correct.
to him.
I have spoken to him,
When?
and I'm going to make this public. I am back working, and I have work hours. I also have to sleep, and unfortunately, I'm on the opposite schedule of you. So respect that.
I thought he had just said earlier that he's back to night work. Didn't earlier this morning when we were running part 1, he talked about being on the night shift now? And then all of a sudden he's saying to Seth that they're on opposite shifts. Well, Seth works at night and Chris works at night. Wouldn't they be on the same shift together?
I will do what I
When did
can
you speak
as
with
I
him,
can
Chris?
when I can.
I'm sorry, Seth, go ahead.
When did you speak with him, Chris?
What has that got to do with finding Sebastian?
Oh, rhetorical question. That was another one that they have on the deception deck, is this rhetorical type of questioning. And we have a rhetorical question here. He's asking him a very specific answer that he should be able to answer very quickly. And he gives him a rhetorical question. He answers the question with a question.
I will do what I
When did
can
you speak
as
with
I
him,
can
Chris?
when I can.
I'm sorry, Seth, go ahead.
When did you speak with him, Chris?
When did you speak with him? He wants to know when he spoke with Tony. He just told him he spoke with Tony. Why doesn't he just answer the question? It seems like a legitimate question, but you can tell by the tone of Seth's voice at this moment, he doesn't believe anything coming out of his mouth. Listen to how Seth is asking him the question. He already knows he's going to be lied to. He already knows he's going to be lied to.
I will do what I
When did
can
you speak
as
with
I
him,
can
Chris?
when I can.
I'm sorry, Seth, go ahead.
When did you speak with him, Chris?
What has that got to do with finding Sebastian?
Yep.
If he's going to be our spokesperson, I was just asking when you spoke with him.
I haven't come up with an answer yet. We've spoke with him. We told him we'll get back with him after we've done some consideration and talking with law enforcement. We'll get back to him and we'll let him know our decision.
So
See how much Chris is always leaning on law enforcement? And now all these months later, we have a statement from Brandon Carter himself, the investigator for Sumner County Sheriff's Department, that tells us, no, I don't say that. I haven't said that. It's not something that we say. I'm not saying this verbatim. If you guys want to find it, please do your own research. But he came out and stated that he does not, nor has advised anybody not to speak to anybody or say anything. So at the time when all of this was being stated, we didn't have that knowledge. Now we do. Now we know he's lying just to lie, just to not answer, to use it as a crutch to not answer a question. But yet he said it over and over again from multiple interviews. Ask him the tough questions. And he used law enforcement as the scapegoat to not answer the tough questions. Why? Why would he lie about taking the polygraph test for almost a month before he went on the Nancy Grace show? Why was he always, from the very first interview we saw with WSMV, stating that they had been cleared when they had not? There's definitely something here, because he needs us to believe him. And he's needed us to believe him since the beginning. But he's trying to force it down our throat, which is what's telling us something's not right.
I know you're on board with that. I do. I mean, I know you're 1,000% on board with Mr. Mathis. I got that. I'm not taking that away from you.
So, Chris, I understand like every marriage is different, and husband-wife aspect. You seem very protective of Katie and her having conversations with or without you. But like I said before you came on, I do believe that Katie is the one who, and I'm not saying it's because she knows what happened to Sebastian, but she was the last person that was with him. And so she does hold the most information, at least up until the point that he went missing.
What information do you think she holds?
Well, I'm going to get to that.
Well, then do me a favor. Let's just get to it.
Okay.
Don't pour gravy on the mashed potatoes. Just serve the stuff up.
Chris, I'm really trying to be respectful, and this is a very
I am too. So please just get to it.
Okay.
No,
so
you're
we would really love to hear from Katie about his body language that day. We've heard from others who are not necessarily good sources about his body language at the bowling alley and his body language here and there. And so we're just really trying to pick up on Sebastian's mood, because it could help us understand what led to him walking away off the front porch out the front door.
Well, that is something that if she decides to answer, that's on her. But what I know is, even on video, Sebastian was having a great day. He was in a great mood.
He was not. We all saw it. We all saw his mother just toss a menu at him. We saw him get out of the vehicle with his fingers over his ears. That didn't look like a boy that was happy. One of the things, we never saw these images until many months after Seth had seen the proof of life video. And when he saw the proof of life video, the one thing he said is his son didn't look happy. And listen to his description. What he knows. What he knows. We had no knowledge because we weren't privy to the Texas Roadhouse footage when we heard this. Now we've all seen it.
Walking away off the front porch out the front door.
Well, that is something that if she decides to answer, that's on her. But what I know is, even on video, Sebastian was having a great day. He was in a great
Even
mood.
on video, having a
He
great
got to go to BJ's. He had a colossal popcorn. He hung out with family. He went and played video games at Strike and Spare. After that, he went and had dinner at Roadhouse, Texas Roadhouse. He ate his whole meal. I mean, everything in the video, even the videos that Seth has seen, he doesn't show any negative signs of he's upset or anything like that.
I disagree.
As far as we all know, Sebastian had a great day.
No, I mean, it sounds like a really great day. I mean, they did a lot. I was just curious, and like I said, I mean, every relationship is different, and you're protective of Katie and who she communicates without you. And I think that has been a little bit difficult.
But right, hold on a second. But for the record, Katie can speak when she so chooses, and she's done interviews without me.
No, I'm not talking about interviews.
She's done one, and it was reels.
But she spoke without
Control.
me.
Okay.
I want to clear up something that Chris said about Sebastian going to live with Seth. And Chris, you may ask, what does this have to do?
We need to listen to this. Listen very carefully. I'm going to just back up 5 seconds, and now that you guys know, I'm not going to stop it until it gets past his response.
Going to live with Seth. And Chris, you may ask, what does this have to do with Sebastian missing? It's all part of the narrative. It could mean he ran away. And that is, Chris, did you not say that he was not looking forward to going to live with his father?
Yes, I did state that.
Seth, did you know this?
Nope.
Chris, do you want to elaborate?
And I'll tell you why.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I will be glad to elaborate.
Become a question.
Hold on, Chris. Hold on. I'm sorry, Seth. Start over. And then Chris, we'll go to you. Seth, go ahead.
But I know why I was putting him in online school. He needed his therapy to actually have been started with ABA, so on and so forth, before I put him back into the situation, because he's not ready for certain things.
Okay. So he was going to go.
I'm not going to set my son up for failure. I want my son to succeed.
He was going to homeschool until he was ready to go back to regular school. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. And it's not really homeschool. I mean,
He was going to have ABA, which is a therapy, and it's about 8 hours every day, in addition to being home or having online schooling. So it was going to be a very therapeutic situation that Seth was setting up for his son. For those that don't know,
and it's an online school.
Okay. Online, right? Online school. That's a better term. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said homeschool. Right. Online school. Totally different.
Really quick, Chris, the day that they had on Sunday with the spaghetti pancakes and bragging to family and BJ's and Texas Roadhouse and bowling and all of these, like, it sounds like the best day ever. Was that like a normal weekend for them, or was it like, I don't know. Was that like their normal weekend?
Right. Well, do me a favor. Let's pause that question, because you just diverted away from what she asked, and let's
see, you notice how he is constantly diverting. He's never answering the question. They're yes or no questions. Some are open-ended questions, but for the most part, he keeps what. I don't know if it's just constant rhetorical questions while he thinks about it, but it's like he's got to have control and just won't answer anything. He wants to tell them what he wants to tell them, not what they're asking him after he's told them, ask him the tough questions. And this is just constant over and over again.
I don't know. Was that like their normal weekend?
Just
Right.
normal
Well, do me a
weekend.
favor. Let's pause that question because
Was
you
that a
just
normal
diverted away
weekend?
from what she asked, and let's clear this out.
Okay, go
Because
ahead,
we
Chris.
want the facts. Let's get the facts straight.
Was
Okay.
that
So
a normal
yes, I did
weekend?
tell you Sebastian was not excited about going to his father's house because online school.
Online
Seth
school.
was aware of this because Seth stood in my house with me, Katie, and Sebastian in my kitchen and had this conversation where Seth asked his son about, you don't want to go to online school? And Sebastian's retort was, no, I don't. But
Okay.
I don't really care about playing tit for tat. I understand
It's
that
not
this
tit for
may
tat.
be a reason why he wanted to run away, so to speak, if that's the case.
Right.
But we're not going.
Blaming Seth for running away. He didn't want to go to online school, so that's why he ran away. What? What? Oh my gosh. I don't remember hearing this. I'm kind of flabbergasted. Did we just hear that? I think we did.
But
Okay.
I don't really care about playing tit for tat. I understand that this may be a reason why he wanted to run away, so to speak, if that's the case.
Right.
But we're not.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Now, this is exactly why we go back and listen to these types of interviews. Like, wow. The gull.
Going into this, we're not going to play this tit for tat on social media. We're not doing this.
Okay, Seth, go ahead.
Chris, unbeknownst to you, had already talked to Sebastian. He knew this wouldn't be a permanent thing. And me and him had already spoken.
Well, that right there is
After
a
the
conversation
and
you should have had with Katie and myself about what your plans were.
I'm sorry, do you want?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Listen to this.
What Seth was saying is that if I had known the conversation that him and Sebastian had, then I would know the whole thing. But the downside is that's where Seth should have had that same conversation with me and Katie, and that didn't happen. But this goes right back to, here's the thing. If you're saying that because he didn't want to go live with his dad, he potentially ran away, is that a possibility? Sure, we'll put that out there.
Okay.
But quite honestly, what goes on between Seth, me, his mom, and our households is none of the public's business.
I absolutely disagree. It has everything to do. If a child's running away, he's running away from something. Whether he's mad at a friend, whether he hates school, whether mom and dad wouldn't let him do something he wanted to really do. Good gracious. This is worse than I thought.
If it had something to do with his disappearance, I would understand that, but it doesn't.
Well, we don't know that.
Of course.
Well, I understand that. That's why we're making this clear.
And that's
Right.
why I asked about his day.
Okay.
Because I
Let's go
didn't
back
know.
to the day. Okay, go ahead, Megan.
No. Okay. So, Chris, you don't know me very well. I have 2 decades of experience working with autistic children in different capacities. So I do understand they are all different. I do understand that day may have been very overstimulating for him. So that's why I was asking if that was a normal day for him. And if it wasn't, that just gives me more information that maybe he was very overstimulated that day.
Chris?
So, all right. So one more time, I'm so sorry.
I was just saying, in my experience with autistic
Wow.
children, obviously they're all
I think that-
different. But if this was not a normal,
I think that silence was deafening. I think that silence was deafening because after seeing that Texas Roadhouse footage, I do believe he was exhibiting signs of overstimulation. I don't know what they look like. Only people that know the signs, but it just didn't. It sounds like his father's description to me of his son when they're having a great day is different than what I observed. And that's the problem I'm having. And that's why I feel like, go back and look at that Texas Roadhouse footage, especially you parents that have autistic children, and decide whether he's showing, signs of being overstimulated. I don't personally know. I'm just assuming.
whole day for Sebastian on Sunday when he went and did all of these things, and it sounds like he was gone from home for a while. If this wasn't a normal day for him, would this have been an overstimulating day for him? Is this something normal? Does he normally go to BJ's and bowling and all of these things on a weekend?
He doesn't know how to answer.
Or was this kind of like a special thing? And if it was a special thing, what caused it to be special? Was there an occasion?
If it was a special thing, a mother and a son bonding and just having a good time.
I'm not being ugly at all.
I'm not. I'm making a
is this a normal day for them on a weekend? For them to do all
our days fluctuate. Monday through Friday, we're a working family, just like everybody else out there. And when the weekend comes, that's when you get a lot of stuff done.
Was it a normal
working weekend?
We're not asking for a life history here.
And a lot of times that's where, you go and spend time with your kids and do extra things.
What?
Sebastian's not in sports like most kids. So we don't spend ball time at the ballpark. When Seth has Sebastian on the weekends, he goes and does fishing and things like that with Sebastian just as well.
Still, the question. This is why I pray that if we can get the Deception Detective up to 50,000 views on all of his Sebastian Rogers videos so far, he's going to interpret another interview, and I'm praying to God it would be this one, because it seems like for the normal person, it to me seems like, was that a normal weekend? Yeah, they do things on the weekend, especially when I'm not here. When we're here, when I'm usually home, we're just lazy around the house. But when I'm away for work, they keep themselves busy. So what? So what? But you just seen him just dancing around, and now it's like the condemnation, like, how dare you? Basically the condescending tone of like, how dare you ask me such an innocent question? What are you trying to imply over here? This is crazy. This is crazy. It was crazy then. It's more crazy now.
Seth works long hours. I work long hours.
And I'm not saying any of that is suspicious at all, Chris. I'm just asking if that was
another thing I'm noticing, and I don't know what it means, is he's always putting him and Seth together. And we know now that hindsight 2020, hindsight no pun intended. We love hindsight, right? But hindsight, we know Seth had nothing to do with this. Had nothing whatsoever to do with this. So now that we know that definitively, hearing him constantly putting himself with Seth when it's important, like alibi and cooperation and home life, but then everything else, he's always putting him down. Like, I helped him find this job. He was ready to give up. And I said, your son needs you. Right? So does anybody, I don't know what that means. To me, it's observation I'm seeing, but what does that mean? I don't know what that means. I hope some expert out there can tell me what that means so I can understand what it means, but I feel like it means something. Because he seems to always want to attach to Seth when it comes to the clearing of the names. But anything else, he wants this big divide about how he's better than Seth. So just, that's a behavior I'm identifying here.
Normal, because if it wasn't normal and he was overstimulated, that could be a reason for him to have ran out of the house.
No, he
Okay.
was not overstimulated.
Okay, so that wasn't one of the possible reasons for him to leave.
Here's what I'll say. Everything is on the table. Nothing has been taken off the table, period. That's the same statement law enforcement has made. That's the same statement I'm going to tell you every single day in and day out.
Katie gave my son to your mother and father. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that.
Say it one more time.
Do you not want to say that? But, well, we can move on. So
No. I want to hear it.
There's a rumor out there, Chris,
That
that your mom and your dad have Sebastian. It's been brought up to me.
Seth, you know darn good and well, you got a question about my
I'm just
mother.
asking.
You pick up the
Did they
phone.
take you
and
somewhere
you
to
call.
like a boot camp or anything like that? And Katie just thought I wouldn't accept it.
I don't think
Hold
Seth
on.
is being accusatory. I think he's just trying to clear up a bunch of BS that's been online.
Right, and I'm trying, and I'm telling.
So this is the theory that a lot of people ran with, that the parental abduction, the custody interference, custodial interference stuff. So this is being addressed all the way back into April. Let's listen to what and how he says. He does get ultra defensive here. And this kind of starts setting him off, because remember, Websleuths had him calm down. And now just a few pointed questions from Seth to him, because, it doesn't seem like they're communicating much right now at this juncture. And so he has an opportunity to have Chris answer some questions, and he's taking that opportunity to get some of the rumors that he was hearing kind of, answered and be done with it and move on. And so now we're seeing a very defensive person. But when he starts talking about his parents, he kind of loses it a little.
They just thought I wouldn't accept it.
I don't think
Hold
Seth
on.
is being accusatory. I think he's just trying to clear up a bunch of BS that's been online.
Right, and I'm trying, and I'm telling you, if he's had this suspicion, he's got my mother's phone number. He can pick up the phone and call her. She is not afraid to
No,
answer any
Chris, I'm not
questions.
saying you. I don't want to talk to your mom. I want to talk to you, and I want to talk to Katie.
Well, it's real simple,
I'm just
Seth.
asking to put it to the rest.
You have seen the video footage of Seth
haven't.
on Sunday. Don't tell me you hadn't. I know you have. You sat in the room
No, I
with
haven't.
all the agents.
No, they didn't show me the video footage, buddy.
So you didn't see, you weren't sitting in a room
Wait a minute.
with law enforcement, the district attorney, when they showed you a video, when you wanted proof of life, saying that you hadn't seen proof since Friday. When you've been at my house the first 3 damn days.
Sunday, buddy.
Chris, let Seth speak. Go ahead, Seth.
Chris, they showed me video proof of him coming out of Texas Roadhouse on Sunday.
On a Sunday night. You damn right.
Just, Chris,
Seth, I got a problem with you sitting here making these accusations.
No accusation.
Because if you got a problem with them,
all over
guess
the
what?
place. Let's squash it.
I think we're just trying to talk things out, and I don't even know if this should be public, honestly.
Same.
Okay, here's all the public knowledge you need on this deal. Law enforcement has talked to my parents, my whole family. Once again, the statement is true, what law enforcement says. Just because you hear a rumor doesn't make it true.
Chris,
I,
what
I
I'm
don't
gonna
think
do
he
is
said it
I'm
was true. I
gonna-
think he's just trying to clarify.
He said
That's not clarifying. No, stop sitting here trying to defend his actions.
Why doesn't he is so defensive and so hostile over this, him asking him a question that if it wasn't true, as much as he likes to laugh and joke, he could have just laughed and joked it off and said no, but instead decides to be so offended. I think it's perfectly reasonable when you're missing a child, you suspect anybody and everybody of taking your child or having something to do with it. I think that's completely, utterly reasonable until you find out otherwise. And when you got somebody that's avoiding answering some of the simplest questions, it's very concerning. Very concerning.
Stop.
Okay.
The fact is, Chris, is I'm trying to squash the rumor. We're both here. Squashing the rumor.
Seth, there is no rumor. You know my parents were not with Katie on Sunday.
That's all I'm doing, Chris.
No, you're causing a problem because you know damn good and well where my parents were at their house on Sunday night. They went.
Listen, this is the leakage. Did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that? When he's referring to the disappearance of Sebastian, or whether his mom or dad have him, he's referring to Sunday. Did you guys hear that? Let's go back.
Stop.
Okay.
The fact is, Chris, is I'm trying.
So Seth is trying to squash a rumor that his mom and dad, the step grandma and step grandparents, took Sebastian, and he's referring to, you know darn good and well they were not with Katie on what day? Sunday. Sunday. That is what's coming out of his mouth when he is hot and angry. Let's listen to it.
To squash the rumor. We're both here. Squashing the rumor.
Seth, there is no rumor. You know my parents were not with Katie on Sunday.
Boom.
That's all I'm doing, Chris.
No, you're causing a problem because you know damn good and well where my parents were at their house on Sunday night. They weren't near Katie. They weren't near Sebastian.
Sunday night.
And if you got a problem, all you got.
Sunday night. Remember, Peter Hyatt believes that something happened Sunday around 10 p.m. When referring to the disappearance of Sebastian, in the angry haste that this stepfather's in, he's referring to the day his stepson disappeared, and he keeps going back to Sunday and Sunday night. That, to me, is crucial. That, to me, is crucial. Because even from him and the mother's own mouth, he would have left between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m. on Monday morning, not Sunday night. So that is where I'm having some problems. Hey, Shay, it's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. Thud, 10 p.m. Yep. That is my problem, because if Katie went to bed at midnight, then he would have disappeared in the early morning hours of the 26th. But he is so angry and so offended that he was asked about his mom and stepfather. He's referring to Sunday and Sunday evening. Little concerning.
Got to do is pick up the phone and call her. Be an adult. Be a responsible adult. And just call her.
Chris. Can you hear me, Chris?
Oh, I can hear you.
Because all I'm hearing is anger and attitude from you. What I'm trying
And you should, Seth. You should. Because what you're doing is bullshit, and you know it.
Okay, stop.
Okay,
People are
all right,
talking
enough.
over each other.
Enough.
Seth, go, and then Chris, go. Please, Seth, and then Chris. Thank you.
Chris.
Oh, you're
A
good.
unified
I type in
front
caps sometimes too.
Squashes rumors together. That's all I am stating.
Okay, Chris.
This is a rumor floating around, and I would like us to squash it.
Yeah, I think that is a great rumor to try to squash. That one's on Facebook, and the rumor is actually that about your mom, her car being parked at like Worsham's and him getting in.
Okay, so here's the answer. The final answer to this.
It's not just an online rumor, because people have driven up to me and personally spoken about this.
Okay,
Right.
ladies and
There's been at least 6 people from last count. One that I personally heard what he said.
gentlemen, can I make the statement?
I wish
This is very simple. This conversation has nothing to do on social media. You want to have this conversation, Seth? You call me, you get.
So it seems like the hot button once again is his mother and this Worsham's. And if it was untrue, why would they have to have this conversation offline? It's untrue. If it's untrue, why does it have to go offline? Why does it have to go offline? I don't understand that. That's the part I'm confused about.
Make the statement.
I wish
This is very simple. This conversation has nothing to do on social media. You want to have this conversation, Seth? You call me, you get Heather, you get Chloe on the phone.
that's
Hell,
fine.
I'll do you one better, and
Right.
I will get Bobby and Carter on the phone, and we'll all sit down and have this little fucking powwow.
So if it almost leads me to believe, because what set him off in this one was the allegation of his mother being up at Worsham's. And now all of a sudden he wants to pull this offline. He wants to have a private conversation, and he wants to have it with all of the detectives and anybody on the case, whatever. Instead of just saying, you know darn good and well that that was just a rumor and doesn't hold water. And I'm sorry you feel that way about my family. Something like that. And be done with it. But look at the outrageousness of his behavior when being asked these questions. What was uncovered that we didn't know was uncovered in these interviews? This was important. The reason why I chose this particular interview is because this is when he lost his cool.
We're not going to have a powwow like that, but I would
Well, then guess what?
this situation, and I would love for it to be private, because I believe a lot of what is happening right now should not be public.
I
So
agree.
explain to me why you don't want Bobby and Carter involved.
I didn't say I didn't want Bobby and Carter involved. I said I was referring to your tone, which is very angry.
Oh, I'm very pissed.
I know that. I think we just all need to take a breath because no one is accusing anyone of anything. We are trying to dispel
No,
things
it's a
because in
rumor.
turn, dispelling these things will
You're
take
so full of
some
shit.
of the BS off of you.
Whoa. That was uncalled for. And Chris, I mean, I do understand your anger, but I know these ladies. I don't know Seth. I just know what I've seen. But these ladies are not full of shit.
I didn't say they're full of shit. I was referring to Seth being full of shit with his comments.
Well,
He was just asking a question.
that doesn't help matters.
No, it doesn't. So when you brought him on the show and he wants to start this shit, that isn't going to answer questions. It's going to spiral into the shit that's in. So we can set this shit aside and answer the questions that you got.
Okay. I would like to move on very quickly, but I will say the public opinion is not going to improve unless we can take a deep breath.
That's exactly right.
And I
And-
know you are frustrated.
You have no idea what
I'm
I
not
am.
saying I know
You
how
don't.
frustrated you are, but I know you are frustrated. And I am not saying that's not valid, but this is not helping.
If it's
And-
not helping, then you shouldn't be talking about it on social media.
But
I'm
here's
trying
As
to,
a PI, you should have said, you know what, we're not going to answer that question. We're going to do that privately. That's where that should
I
have
did
went.
say that actually several times,
You
and you
did.
can listen to that recording later.
So let's move on to the next question.
I just got to say one thing. You want the public's help. You want them
We need
to be
them.
behind both of you.
Yeah, we
And
need them to find Sebastian.
exactly. And it's a very good chance that somebody in the public
And
We'll find
that's
him.
my biggest frustration is that we all collectively have to deal with all of this instead of focusing on Sebastian.
Right. And it's a disadvantage to Sebastian. Really, it's sad because we're not any closer to finding him as long as we're all arguing like this.
and mods in chat, you're removing these comments, I hope, because I've been removing some too. And we've got extra people, extra mods in chat. Anything rude that said, they're banned, they're gone. Okay. So we'll get them out there as quickly as possible. And let me go through chat really quickly here to get some more questions here. You've been on here for many hours, and I so appreciate this. I really, really do. So,
Can Chris hear me?
yes, he can.
Can you, well, you can't throw us in a back room so many of them can talk real quick.
I wish I could. I wish I had that ability, but I don't. I can take you both off, and you can call him. Do you want to do that?
Let's finish this first,
Oh, he doesn't
and we'll
want to
do
talk
that
to him.
after the fact. Let's get these questions out of the way.
Chris, listen, you may not like my opinion, but when we got rumors out there, when you and I squash these rumors, then they stop being rumors and everybody just looks at the people who are spreading them like they are shit. I was not trying to upset you. I'm trying to squash these stupid rumors that are literally filling up my privatized email address, their inbox with crap. Which is crap. It's not helping find Sebastian, so if it gets squashed, then people will stop. Not everybody. Lord knows there's still going to be stupid people out there. But it will stop. It will, I mean, literally, it will stop.
My retort is
The
real
only thing
simple,
I
Seth.
want is to find Sebastian, Chris, and there are rumors out there that we have to put an end to. You may not like them, but we have to put them into them publicly. Because right here, we can end rumors. So people know when I told them to fuck off, if they didn't like it, they know that I meant fuck off because they don't like it.
So stop right there, Seth. Stop. let me help you with something real quick. You want rumors to die? You want to stop with all the stuff that's coming up and flooding these PI's inbox? How many terabytes do you want of videos where you have gone out there and you've said some very harsh things that should never have come out? You never should have. And now don't take this the wrong way. That is a conversation for later. Let me finish.
Chris is allowed to say whatever he wants, but not the father of this child. Not the actual father of the child. The father of the child's being schooled by the stepfather. I would lose my shit.
Things that I put out there.
Once again, you can't talk to a fucking log.
Okay, what? Okay,
Chris,
so
Let me finish.
Chris, that's not productive.
It's not. So let me finish. You all are playing one-sided here.
no, we're not.
I don't think that's fair.
So then tell Seth when I'm talking, let me finish.
Okay, Seth,
Okay.
let him finish.
Yes, Seth, please let him finish.
Oh, good gracious.
There are conversations you've had that should have never been out in the public light, and you know it. And because you did that, it started a lot of rumors. Own it, accept it, and move on from it. I told you on Sunday, I supported you. I would be there for you no matter what, how ugly this got.
What?
But I'm not going to stand by and watch you disrespect me, my family, my wife, or anybody for that matter. A lot.
How ugly it got. Stand by his side no matter how ugly it got. Told him on Sunday. What? In the ever-loving you know what?
I supported you. I would be there for you no matter what, how ugly this got. But I'm not going to stand by and watch you disrespect me, my family, my wife, or anybody for that matter. A lot of rumors got started because you went on social media and you opened your mouth and said some things you shouldn't have said. Accept it. I'll show you the videos.
You don't need to show me videos.
Now, in hindsight, that is a conversation you and I need to have offline, away from everybody else, in our own private conversation. You and I, we sit down and we can talk. Literally, Lise, you had people watch us doing it Sunday at that vigil.
Yeah, well, he told
Well,
him.
They were snapping pictures because they were trying to get some juicy information.
Trish,
So let's answer.
can we move on to the question?
Yes, please.
Yeah, let's. There's a question here in chat, and I've heard this. And Chris, this is a good one I'd like to clear up. Is
Okay.
it true that Chris told Seth, "You will find your son at church"?
No.
Okay,
No.
that's
What he stated was if I went to church, maybe I'd find my son.
Oof.
so. In other words, if you went to church and talked to the Lord, is that what you were saying,
Yes,
Chris?
that is what the whole conversation in reference was.
That doesn't
I have a
Not,
question for
you go to a church and you'll find it.
Oh,
Who's
hold
coming
on,
up with that
Seth.
crap?
I'm sorry, Chris. Finish. I'm sorry.
I'm talking because why? I understand. I see where people got that,
Right.
but that is a conversation that Seth and I had privately. You know, I'm sorry, but we're not going to sit here and drag certain things into this. It has nothing to do with it.
Wow.
I told Seth, basically we should all go to church. We should pray.
I doubt that.
That's exactly what it was in reference to.
Understood. Seth, go ahead. It's your turn now.
There's a better way to said it, Chris.
Okay, and that's
For you
semantics.
to think that I don't go to church.
Seth, I didn't say anything about you not going to church or
semantics.
going to church. Can we
Is
go
that
to the next
fine,
question?
Sebastian?
No, it's not. Can we
Okay.
move to the next question?
All right, thank you.
Okay. How about this? Because you guys have been on here for almost 3 hours, and I really appreciate it. And I do think Chris and Seth need to talk off air. Let's talk about what we do know. We do know, and this is how we started out the live stream. We do
Right.
know that Sebastian was last seen publicly at Texas Roadhouse on Sunday. We know he was seen on camera taking out the garbage at some point.
Correct.
We know that there is a possibility that the cameras did not pick up Seth leaving the house because it was so dark.
Sebastian.
Actually, Sebastian, not
I'm sorry,
Seth.
what did I say? I'm sorry.
You
I'm so
said
tired.
Seth.
Seth, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're not missing Seth. You're right here. Sebastian. Sebastian,
I'd like to be missing.
yeah, I understand. I hear you. Sebastian was not seen, a possibility that Sebastian was not seen leaving the house because it was too dark. Okay? There were certain scent dogs that hit on Sebastian. There were 3 of them that went down to the retaining pond. According to Chloe, that retaining pond has been searched.
It was actually been drained and it has been walked and searched.
Okay, so that's good. I think that's what we know about that night and the hours before he went missing. I think that's all we know for certain. Now, I want to ask all of you, what is the next step? Chloe and Heather, I'll go to you 2 first, and then I'll go to the 2
All right,
the 2
guys, we're
gentlemen.
going to stop there. There's not a whole lot to listen to after this point. I'm going to end the show. We are getting Justin is going to be on now. I hope everybody joins me over on Justin's show. But I do want to hear tonight's show about I think he's going to be showing Nancy Grace and the interview. I'm not sure how this is going to be, but we will open up this conversation. It's already 6:20. We'll open this conversation back up tomorrow morning for those that can join us. The ones that are in here that can't join us in the morning, maybe you can catch it on replay. Please don't forget to hit the like button on your way out this evening. And don't forget to show Justin some love. I will see you guys over there. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.